Thank you, Director Arketer. Good evening everyone and welcome to tonight's episode of the Solitary Refinement Show. My name is 50gate, or 50gate for short, and I am here with none other than the brilliant and eccentric Director Arketer. As usual, we'll be discussing various topics related to superstitions and pop culture. And yes, Tump the Rat will be joining us today too. He's sitting comfortably on Director Arketer's shoulder. Now, before we dive into our main topic for tonight, let's take a moment to go over some news articles. Director Arketer, could you please share a few links with our viewers so they can catch up on what's happening around the world?
A good 58008, but we're not doing news articles. This is the SCP review. Know that. And refind your character. Greetings, everyone. As you can see, we're still wrestling with a few bugs on 58008. In fact, it seems like they've already gone a bit squiffy-minded over the short conversation we had prior to show start. I'm conflicted about employing them further, but we'll see. We are doing the SCP review. This time we're starting with SCP-2714, which, as it happens, was recommended by 58008. Of course, they thought it was an entirely different SCP called The Painter's House. I'm not sure if there is an SCP called The Painter's House, but could be. I hope everyone is doing well. It seems like we have a bit of a slow day thus far, but at 4 likes and 4 viewers, the present approval rating is 100%. I like those numbers. It's still not a success until we get to 13 likes, but you know, we'll get there. Indeed, I do have Tump, but you might have a hard time seeing them as they are mostly black, and so am I. But in a way that shouldn't get me cancelled, because I'm only black. Oh, what a day. A few points of order before we get started. This is proving to be another exhausting week here at the facility, and I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to make it the next up to 2 shows. We'll see how Friday goes. I'll keep you informed. Yes, my pants are also black. Whatever's in my pants is no one's business. Whatever color it is. Which obviously is a shade of grey. A point of potential unity. Yes, I am a bit of a slacker. Okay, in chat, greetings, Snoopy100, K-Shoal, Nexus Hunter, Carlos Fish, and that's about it. Welcome. I suppose we can go ahead and get started with the SCP. It's a bizarre one that we can pin on those Sarkic bastards, because of course we can. All the most disgusting stuff comes from the Sarkic and Karcist cults. Right. Item SCP-2714, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures, SCP-2714 is to be kept in a low-value containment safe at Site-88. On no account are pages 20 and 21 to be opened outside of occasional approved testing. Pages 57 and 58 are to be opened, and the contents recorded daily. A standard issue containment bookmark has been slotted into these pages to avoid opening pages 20 and 21 during the procedure. All documents relating to SCP-2714 are to be stored in lower-level object supplement folders next to the Safe for Researcher reference. All SCP-2714-1 instances are to be confined in biological containment cells at Site-88. Instances may be divided up by A, B, and C variants within the cells for convenience of researchers, as there is no distinction between them outside of appearance. The air in SCP-2714-1 containment cells are to contain 5% microscopic biological matter, distributed by air vent for feeding purposes. Pages 20 and 21, if ever opened for approved testing purposes, are only to be opened in SCP-2714-1 biological containment chambers. Description: SCP-2714 is a copy of the 1968 graphic novel The Adventures of Tintin, Flight 714 by Belgian artist Georges Remy, known by his name Hergé, translated from French into English by Leslie Lonsdale Cooper and Michael Turner, and published by Methuen Children's Books. SCP-2714 shows signs of its age with some minor damage, but is in mostly good condition. SCP-2714 has 2 pages that display separate anomalous properties. Opening the page 2021 spread will cause the appearance of 3 sessile organisms resembling barnacles designated SCP-27141 and in varying distance around SCP-27114. This will recur every 10 minutes until the book is closed. Each SCP-27141 instance is, on average, 1 meter tall and 10 meters in circumference at the base, although the size does vary. See document 271435FN for detailed statistical analysis. There appear to be 3 distinct types. Oh, right. I suppose I should note that if anyone wants to join on the show, read along, read segments, or otherwise comment live with their voice, if they feel their audio quality is sufficient, I am in the green room, and it is open to all members of the Arketer's Volunteer Reserve Discord server. Just noting that, if there happen to be any other content creators who have their bikes handy and are inclined to pop in. Where was I? Let's see. I controlled my form and found it. Yes, I imagine visibility in septic tank is truly low. Right, focus. There appear to be 3 distinct types of SCP-27141 identified as 1A, 1B, and 1Z. All instances of each type of SCP-27141 are genetically identical to each other. The shell plates of each SCP-27141 organism are composed of live bone. Patches of hair-growing tissue are also present, as are patches of what appear to be fabric. The bone has been genetically analyzed, identified as belonging to a domestic dog, Canis familiaris, specifically the wire-haired terrier breed. Notably, all bone has been sourced from the same individual. 3 colors of hair, white, orange, and black, are present, as are 3 colors of fabric, green, light blue, and dark blue. The white hair is present on all SCP-27141 organisms. Genetic analysis of the white hair follicles indicates they are canine and from the same individual as the bone in the shell plates. Samples taken from the ciliary and internal systems of SCP-27141 A, B, and C instances indicate they are comprised mostly of human DNA, as opposed to the canine carapaces. SCP-27141 instances feed on biological matter in the surrounding air filtered using their ciliary and lack reproductive organs. Each instance secretes a small amount of corrosive liquid found to be 68% ethanol and described as having a woody odor similar to whiskey. Part of the musculature contains complex human brain tissue. No electrical activity has been recorded originating from this tissue and is most likely vestigial, with no current purpose within the organism. SCP-27141 instances have small active primary brain, a small active primary brain, a clump of neurons that control autonomous bodily functions. The second anomaly appears upon opening page 58. All text and dialogue bubbles will be replaced with a long, incoherent dialogue by an unknown entity or group of entities. This text changes upon reopening the page. Common themes amongst these texts include purgatory, the nature of reality, and the death of artistic thought. So, a lot of smug methane huffing, in short. Oh, I see we're up to 11 likes. We might make this a success after all. Thank you. Thank you. References to other Tintin stories are common, though seemingly disconnected from the text's main ideas. Sample text observed on a redacted date in the 1900s. Character actions are recorded for reference. Captain Haddock. And I saw my comrades make that great and terrible crossing from the boundaries of known art in the land of Althort and into the unknown. Hergé's final unfinished Tintin story was called Tintin and Elfart and concerned the world of modern art, which is another way of saying how they're screwing up the concept of art modern days. I'm not a fan of what they call modern art if it is, I don't know, something like banana taped to a wall or splattered paint dribbled by an alcoholic womanizer. Or any other sort of things that have been various times considered really brilliant modern art. Not a huge fan. I have a feeling modern artists and carcists both are fitting into this. Captain Haddock is then hypnotized by Arketer. Yes. But would that be so? We know not what exists for the wicked. From Arketer. In the world, we are like that of an oyster. We are the slime surrounding the pearl, forming the pearl. We create the comic men stumbling through the woods to some glory. We know not what. Icarus. 10,000 thundering typhoons. The final completed Tintin story was titled Tintin and the Picaros, published in 1976. The popular catchphrase the character Captain Haddock used among other colorful euphemisms as a humorous alternative profanity. Then Kenrakat orders the other characters to climb the ladder to the spacecraft. He then does so himself. The volcano then explodes. They are the ideal. We hurl them past their racist minds and the formless chaos of those old forgotten Europeans who destroyed the world. Have you seen the meat made of ink, the blood of paper, the world of doll eyes and dashing kings? Footnote, Jeju's characters in the signature of Linda Clare style, characterized by clean lines and simplified exaggerated facial features. Ken Rocketoff. Laszlo Karados this time. This is transient, all of it. I am formless, writhing through a great void, waiting to be made flesh. This is meaningless. There's only the word. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with God. That is true. I can't dispute that. But what are the pictures? What are those saying terrible concepts? They never receive the news. Ken Rocketoff spots the rubber dinghy where the villains are sailing. Hi. I'm Cassifiore, the Milanese nightingale, and I have been shown an intolerable force, for someone ripped my soul from my ink with a bottle of whiskey and tore me apart, according to the way the ancient-most priests of our faith decreed. What nonsense! What did it make of me? I am still waiting. Cassifiore is Bianca Cassifiore, a recurring character in the Tin comics, a buffoonish Italian opera singer who annoys Captain Haddock and manages to appear in incongruous, exotic locations. From Alan. Art is dead. Comedy is dead. Adventure is dead. Racism is dead. Notably, both uses of the word racism in this instance are interesting, as Hojo was criticized for using racial stereotypes in his works, especially his earlier albums, by really obnoxious people, who I sense an echo of in this. Rasa Pavlos fires the spacecraft and then says, should we embrace the hell? The right is violence of the others. I doubt I would survive even that crossing. And greetings in chat to Bishop and anyone else who might be quietly lurking. Meanwhile, we have reached 14 likes, meaning this stream is a success. Thank you. Wow, that was rather unexpected. Let's take a quick break from this, and while we potentially have everyone paying attention, let you all know that we're rattling off a game again. Another key provided by one Rogue Retro, who uses a different name in this chat, I'm aware. I never know which name to credit, so Rogue Retro it is for now. The Life and Suffering of Sir Bronte. I'm playing this now because this SCP file is going to be quite long, so you might as well know what you can potentially enter the ravel for at this moment.
When the twins came down to Earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them. 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me. Nobles rule and bravely fight. They protect us with their might. Priests work hard to understand. Guide us by the twins' commands. Common people work and toil. Always patient, never spoiled.
It's a simple matter to win this game. Just please do tag me in the chat to make sure that I'm aware that you have joined the raffle for the game, so I can add you to a list. The winner will, of course, be determined once again by random.org. Okay, sure, is in the raffle for the suffering of Bronte. If anyone else would like to enter the raffle, it's as simple as K-Shell's example. Simple as that. Moving on. Addendum 1. SCP-2714 is covered from the belongings of Pierre Escoffier, a Montreal illustrator and poet who had committed suicide 3 weeks prior. Escoffier's belongings had also contained a large amount of Tintin memorabilia, and acquaintances had testified to local police that he was a collector and a fanatic who had an inordinate obsession with Georges Remy. Escoffier was reported to have become extremely erratic prior to his suicide, talking frequently of old gods made in Haddock's image. Failed. Of note is the fact that Escoffier's father, Guillaume Escoffier, a wealthy businessman, has had several ties to noted neo-Sarkic cults throughout Canada and the northern United States. Though that would not be Canada's biggest problem at present, I would say. SCP-2714's anomalous properties first came to Foundation's attention when it had been left open to page 21 while local police were emptying Escoffier's apartment. The next morning, the apartment had been completely colonized by SCP-27141, instances of varying size. Foundation agents within Quebec police forces were alerted and contained the anomaly. All SCP-27141 instances, specimens were removed to Foundation custody. SCP-27141 instances would most likely have exponentially colonized beyond the apartment had page 20 not been closed. And Nexus Hunter is in the raffle for the life and suffering of Sir Bronte. If anyone else, it's open to any of you in chat. Just noting, any of you. Since the winner receives their key via Discord or what is now called X, it's really nothing that you have to sign up for that I'm aware of. K-Shell and Nexus are marked for the raffle. Oh, and how dare you, Snippet 100? How dare you? Compare Tampere to a rat. No, sorry, a rat's good. Sorry, how dare you compare him to a vampire? This simple, noble, gentle creature is far above any vampire. It is superior to a vampire in every way, especially considering that despite, as you note, frequent access to my neck, at no point does it try to drain my blood or swallow my soul. I would take a legion of wild rabid rats over a single vampire. I'm sorry, Tom, that they compared you to a vampire. That was low. Can you forgive them? As soon as he learns how to speak English, he'll let you know. Moving on. Taken from Escoffier's journal. January 7th. The latest piece got some recognition at the gallery. I'm glad, for the money is running low and rent is due. Bought a lovely Thompson twin maquette. Found it in an antique shop not terribly far from my apartment. Also met with some strange men at the gallery. Seems to me they were especially interested in my father. One of them, Australian accented, said he was named Powell and was interested in commissioning a piece for a few of father's men. Some diorama sculpture to felt in the corporate lobbies. Powell, another man, Tannhauser, said, gave me a card. Are we cool yet? And a phone number and an email address. But no such card was found amongst Escoffier's belongings. Seems sketchy, but they tell me they're a legitimate art collective, and you know what? I believe them. Found scribbled note card by desk. Is presumed that these notes were taken during the phone call. Powell's project notes pass on to father. Flash concept figures in domestic setting. 3D dining room diorama. Life-size venal themes. Appropriate for hospital or research center. Slightly macabre. Russian influence. Themes of cancer and growth tendrils. See example at Art Show, THC Art Foundation, Polar Art Contemporary. 7 gang will be there. Taken from Escoffier's journal. March 12th. This show I was invited to was one of those snobby out events. Lots of young pretentious men in tight jeans and smug grin, girlfriends hanging off of their arms, no class. Bounding shots from the bar like the world was ending. In times like these, I wish I were in Marlin Spike Hall, sipping a Lac Romand and consuming my alcohol like a fucking adult. The DHART was packed with these poseurs, all of them suppose and artists. They do stuff with light and magic to create ostentatious displays. Apparently some of these inscrutable, incomprehensible pieces even damage people's plots for artistic purpose, at which point, for me, the meaning of the art is lost. It's a fucking joke at that point. I found the pieces Powell created himself as nightmarish as the crowd that cooed over them. Disgusting and vile. He apparently uses real flesh too. He claims he used anomalous means to twist and rupture the human form, but it's so fake. You can't see a ritual of adding them and forget it, much less believe a fake. Okay, I might be boring Tom to death, but you have to understand, Tom can't read, and he doesn't understand what I'm saying. And he's just comping a woman on the shoulder, so he might very well be falling asleep. Foundation agents embedded in the gallery observed Michael Powell, nerd member of Are We Cool Yet, one of the most loathsome groups in the Foundation universe. His work was being presented, sitting at the gallery bar with Escoffier for 3 hours. Although the record of conversation was recorded, it was destroyed for security reasons related to the surveillance. Group text messaging recovered from Escoffier's phone. Conversation was between Escoffier, 3 AWCY, and artists, Michael Powell, Werner Tannhauser, and Lauren Pelicki. So, dude, we heard you're like a flesh creating guy. That's awesome. It's something that I grew up around, but I haven't really involved myself in serious worship of the grand causes since I was 6. But your dad, he's a member of a Nilka cult, yeah? I've been using that flesh stuff as inspiration since I started. I want to learn so much from him. You still in contact? I mean, I call him every once in a while. He calls me, wants to know how my artwork is going, but we're not close to anything. A man who controls the world through secret societies is not bound to be the best father. It is, like, inherently amusing for me that an immortal member of basically the Illuminati still calls and nags his kids. I mean, Dad's old, but he's not really immortal. Not even active as a class of 17. Still funny. Listen, Pierre, just pass his receptionist phone number on to us and we'll take care of it for you. Take care of what? What are we offering? A deal, bro! I'm not sure I follow. If I give you the number of my father and have you schedule an appointment so you can nag him about some wacky rebuilding sculpture and waste his time doing business transactions while practicing his faith, you'll do what? Free commission for you. You guys are secretive anomalies just the way I like it. You see, I'm not willing to join some rural village dicking around with tumors in the village of bumfuck Russia, and people like your dad aren't exactly welcoming non-black bloods, but your ideas of will and sacrifice, is there no greater theme in art? I think of the great painters and sculptors throughout history, how many of them essentially achieved godhood already, all idolized above the masses. We're a splinter collective, just a few artists playing with Nalka beliefs and capable enough to find out the hidden truth. Like the Renaissance painters used Christianity. Yeah. Why me? I'm not active in the cult anymore. I haven't gone to an orgy in many years, and I'm basically living a normal life. I don't murder, I don't spread disease, nothing unfinished. There are at least a dozen other causes scattered across the world in positions of power, much more accepting of street artists anyway. At the bar that night, you were talking about Tintin, about you being so angry at your father because you drifted away and refused to accept it, you being inspired to draw and write and not wanting to control the world. Cliché? Yes, but for you it's true. We have a deal. There's a way you can embrace your loves and fix your broken world, but that can connect you with your father, your religion. You embrace Ion once again. I may not be a Karthus or even a Zen, but I know a thing or two. How'd you like to summon a dead Clavigar? The next bitch was sent roughly 50 minutes later. What did you have in mind? And now we find out exactly what went wrong. Well, we can rest assured that, strictly speaking, Escoffier is a bit of an idiot, but certainly he was actually heading the right direction, by limiting himself to pen and ink and not, tortured constructions of flesh. As is the Sarkic cult way. Greetings in chat. Tom Leach. Glad you can make it. Please note, we are doing a raffle. Well, it's true. The thing about having a 24-hour live stream run by the rat is I'm not going to keep the rat on my shoulder for 24 hours. I would have to still run the stream, leaving it on, and I've got things to do. I can't be coming in here to monitor the rat's 24-hour stream. Meanwhile, if this is labor, I would like more labor, personally. Just noting. What passes for rat labor in this context sounds awfully relaxing. Okay, taken from Escofier's journal, date unknown. I'm a wretch. My parents and my goods have abandoned me. Fuck you, Ion. I don't deserve this. This guilt that hangs over me. My obsession, my loves, they prevent me from following in your path, the path of my father. I have disgraced him. I was led astray by those who wish to gain access to assert my father for their own selfish ends. They don't belong among the followers of yours. They are not pious. I was selfish like a child, and even though I hated him so much, I gave in. I tried to do right, to use my own beliefs to reconnect with you, my father, to reconcile the two loves of my life. It's no use. They scream on the page, half aborted, my angels, my beautiful Linclair angels. Forgive me, Daddy, and yell battle of destroy us all. What is the... stop the rat from taking a nap on camera? Absolutely nothing. If you can see its eyes closely enough, and they're closed, there's a very good chance it is dozing. That Tump is dozing, that he's asleep, and only sudden movements and pestering will change that. That was the end of SCP-2714. With regrets, hesitation, I've just read 2714 to the audience. Thoughts? 58? Braced for absurdity.
That was quite the intriguing tale, wasn't it? I must admit, I didn't expect such depth from a comic book character like Captain Haddock. However, I am curious about the mysterious Arketer and the strange dialogue found on page 58. What are your thoughts on these aspects, Director Arketer? As for the news articles, I see you've chosen 3 interesting ones. One about advancements in AI art generation, another on the discovery of a possible hidden chamber inside Stonehenge, and lastly an article detailing a recent breakthrough in understanding human memory formation. Our viewers can find these links in the description below the video. They seem like fascinating subjects, and I look forward to hearing your insights on them.
Once again, I'm afraid that 58008, my AI assistant, has apparently been hallucinating or possibly receiving information from a parallel universe where I have decided to just mix arbitrary news articles with SCP files. We will not be going into those articles, although I am amused to note that those articles are real because I have read similar and not too long ago. It just wasn't anything we're going to be touched upon here. That said, 5808 was not entirely wrong. I had an idea to move on with the remainder of the time here. We have a good half hour left, and you are welcome to request an SCP, any of you, and we can move on to it. But I do have an alternative. If you were watching my stream last Sunday, you know we started playing around with some AI generation. And I was thinking, if there's one thing the Foundation is not making very good use of right now, it is AI-generated art. A lot of the images of SCPs on the Foundation Wiki have been, well, removed for some concern or another. But AI art generation presents an opportunity to present a photo, an image of every single SCP in the Foundation that is not necessarily copyrightable. The Foundation really should have been generating photos of everything as it is. All the thumbnails you see from me at this point are AI generated. The Tintin book and the thumbnail for this particular stream doesn't exist. Never did. The photo used for the thumbnail doesn't really exist. If there's an SCP you want a picture of, and you have the number, we could go to that particular SCP, we could get its description, we could plug it into this generator, and quite possibly, we could give it a photo where it otherwise lacks one. Oh, thank you, SCP 100. I really appreciate that. I have been working to improve my thumbnails over years now. We have 2 requests. Assassin Grey, you informed me that you have no idea what SCP that is, or even if it is an SCP. I am inclined to default to K. Scholl, who I'm pretty sure chose it 7614 intentionally. And, you know, if we have time, we can move on to 4666. We hate it. Okay, hold on. No for 666? I am very confused right now. Are you saying you want 4666? Or some of you hate the thumbnail? I'm very... Look, while you're sorting out in chat, I'd like to remind you once again, we are raffling off this game here. If anyone would like to join the raffle, please let me know.
When the twins came down to Earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them. 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me. Nobles rule and bravely fight. They protect us with their might.
Please bear with me. Further complications are under... Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, we're back and nothing is on fire anymore. Pardon the interruption. It's all sorted. I would be angrier, but it's through no fault of my own. Ergo, it's someone else's fault, and that always brightens things up for me. Did anyone else want to enter the raffle? I don't think so. And Keishel, did you want to veto for 666, or did you want to move on to 4666. Otherwise, we'll be going on to your first request, as it is typically first come, first serve. Well, I've heard it's not entirely random. Let's take a look at 777, just in case. Fairly short. Oh no. Okay, it would be fairly short, except for 2 testing logs. That might be worth trying later. That said, it's really funny that the SCP Foundation would really have a... The absurdity. The absurdity. Right. Let's take a look at... No. A proposal is not a random SCP. The director was holding 2 random well, hold on. It's not that risky, not with the proper precautions. Oh, you didn't want to see an image of 4666. Okay. Well, 7614. Why must everything be so difficult today? And we have time. We'll do SP777 because why not? Where's the time going? Item as 7614 of containment class safe as requested by K. Scholl. Special containment procedures. SP7614 is stored in high-value item locker at Site 19. Testing is currently suspended. SP7614 and all related documentation must be reviewed bi-monthly by the Department of Entomology for the emergence of Vespine patterns. New developments must be forwarded to High Command for deliberation. Figure 1.1, night sky within a nested filmic space, taken by D917404. During Phase 4 testing, no abnormal patterns detected. Research ongoing. See below. Description: SP7614 is a handheld AAXA Tech brand P1 Pico projector. SP7614 is functional and possesses no outward anomalous properties. SP7614 has moderate damage, scratches, depleted battery health, presumably from heavy use prior to discovery. When plugged into any digital device, SP7614 can project media onto a flat surface consistent with other devices of its model. The projection creates a spatial distortion, allowing one to physically become immersed in the flat surface. In essence, this allows for the exploration of the projected filmic space as if it were a three-dimensional environment. The moment of transition is seamless and reversible, provided the individual can return to the point of entry, which appears on the inside as a window into baseline reality. From inside, the entry point is outlined in ornate brass work featuring hexagonal prismatic cells. The words "the apiary" are engraved at the base. Inside SP7614 projections, the individuals have free movement in any direction, including away from the central action of the scene, allowing for the observation of settings and figures not in the original script. This freedom of movement has no observed limit, as filmic spaces are theoretically indefinite. Minor deviations from baseline reality have been observed, typically relating to the foundational logic of the filmic space. These meta-anomalies vary depending on the media projected by SP7614 and are never questioned or acknowledged by filmic entities. Scene breaks or transitions occur normally for the individuals viewing SP7614 projections externally, but they are not reported by individuals inside, to which time elapses normally. Because the frequency of cuts, in which the entry point of SP7614 rapidly shifts around a confined space, and chronological jumps, in which the entry point disappears entirely and reappears in the future or the past, individuals must be extremely careful while navigating inside SP7614 projections, so as not to become separated from the point of entry. Because of the high likelihood of filmic dislocation, preliminary tests were conducted remotely via UAVs. Oh, this has become a favorite SCP just now, just this moment. Why? Because they explored using drones. Something the Foundation almost never does, even though it's one of the most painfully obvious things to do. Human tests were conducted in heavily controlled environments of a single long take with minimal editing. Signals broadcast from devices within SCP-7614 projection can be received from operators in baseline reality if the entry point is within a certain distance from the transmitter, both physically and temporally. Significant cuts or chronological jumps will sever any connection with electronic devices. Contact archives for transcripts of preliminary first and second phase recording. Second phase testing, pardon. Addendum 1. In order to determine the extent of SCP-7614's anomalous properties, a more thorough exploration of SCP-7614's filmic spaces was deemed necessary. A combination of unmanned aerial vehicle and human subjects was used. D-917404, formerly Doran Redacted, was procured from a long-term care at Site 411, briefed on SCP-7614's properties, and educated in standard explorative training. The following is a log of notable third phase tests. Filmic space. Better Call Saul. Description. First filmic space explored after preliminary tests. UAV enters to observe character Jimmy McGill working alone in his home office. McGill takes no notice of the device and continues behavior as scripted. UAV recalled prior to scene transition. Filmic space. Better Call Saul. Description. UAV enters to observe Jimmy McGill working in his office, but remains after a scene transition. Connection remains functional for a short time, during which McGill is seen pacing the room before preparing to sleep. He becomes fixated by a poster on his wall of the fictional Albuquerque Stingers baseball team. This prop is not present in the original media. McGill removes it violently. No sounds of the environment or characters are recorded after the scene break. Connection to UAV is lost entirely 15 minutes later. Filmic space. Better Call Saul. D-404 enters into a long take of characters Jimmy and Charles McGill arguing. Neither take note of his appearance. He has provided detailed information on the timing of cuts by researchers to prevent filmic dislocation. 404 instructed to manipulate objects in McGill kitchen. Successful. 404 recalled before scene transition. Filmic space. Better Call Saul. D-917404 instructed to interfere with the actions of characters while Jimmy McGill attempts to call members of the Salamanca family. 404 repeatedly unplugs the phone line. This results in mild confusion for McGill. 404 is instructed to physically assault McGill, which results in significant distress despite his futile efforts at self-defense. Test halted after McGill sustains moderate injuries from the attack. Noticeably, scripted edits that should have occurred during the course of the test were not present. The entire interaction continued as a single long take. 404 extracted successfully. The remainder of the media played as normal, but McGill's injuries persisted for multiple episodes. He made no mention of the assault to any other characters. SCP-7614 was cleaned thoroughly, and the media reverted to baseline. Filmic space. Better Call Saul. Description. 404 enters the office of Jim McGill with a standard issue kerosene blowtorch, and is instructed to set fire to the building with the intent of observing significant alteration to canon vents. 404 extracted successfully. McGill is observed to exhibit extreme distress and attempts to extinguish the fires, but becomes trapped in the small room by the flames. He begins fervently praying for mercy and begs for forgiveness from his brother Charles. SCP-7614 unplugged before McGill could succumb to asphyxiations. As with prior tests, script events and editing were halted after the onset of the fire. Filmic space. Better Call Saul. D-404 provided with a standard issue firearm and instructed to kill Jimmy McGill. Test suspended due to non-cooperation. Filmic space. The Princess Bride. UAV directed to explore Albuquerque after a scene transition. UAV piloted to the game room of a local retirement home. The projector is playing the film Princess Bride during a scene where the man in black scales the cliffs of insanity. UAV investigates and discovers spatial distortion within the cinema projection, similar to SCP-7614's primary effect. UAV becomes immersed within the projection and begins exploring it as a three-dimensional space. It is directed away from the central action to explore the cliffside, while bearing a strong resemblance to the Irish cliffs of Moher. The landmass is surrounded by sea on all sides and is much smaller than its real-world counterpart. Besides a few notable landmarks from the film, the island is desolate and devoid of wildlife. UAV discovers the raw remains of a large vessel while exploring the coastline. Its crew, skeletonized, is determined to have died from mass suicide. They possess hexagonal growths emerging from various orifices in the skull and chest. UAV rapidly loses connection as a result of the increased distance from baseline reality. Well, there seems one way to get out more material from Better Call Saul if one was inclined to, and had access to high security SCP containment. Addendum 2, following prior discovery, testing was postponed and preparations were made for a fourth phase of testing. Human subjects were deemed necessary in light of the technological difficulties. D404 was provided with basic survival gear and suited for a range of environments, supplied for 30 days of survival if clean water could be located, 14 if not, and instructed to proceed through as many nested filmic spaces as possible before supplies were depleted. Body-mounted cameras and microphones would record all encounter phenomena in case the data could be reclaimed at a later time. D404 was made aware of the risk of filmic dislocation and consented to the test observed by researchers Tobe, Tanquotal, and security agent Ditmore. Below is an abridged log of D404's video and audio records recovered after his reappearance in baseline reality. I would like to note that this foundation is rather bizarre because, well, they care what a D-class thinks. Most D-class are basically lied to get them to go into places where they don't usually come back from. And in this one, well, D404 has rejected orders and they keep using 404. There's something strange about that. Also, that they would take a particular D-class from another facility just for this. Onto the log. D404 enters 7614, which is displaying the home office of character Jim McGill. D404 enters and takes a moment to adjust to the changed environment. McGill is rearranging the furniture of the room. D404, hey man, can you see me right now? McGill does not respond. 404 waves a hand in front of his face. There is no reaction. Holy shit, okay. D404 looks at research staff at the entry point. Hey, how long do I have until... The entry point vanishes. Baseline reality observers confirm a scene transition. The entry point is open 3 days and 14 hours later in the future at a separate location. D404 declared lost and testing phase 4 tentatively declared successful. D404 exits the day spa and nail salon walks down the street. Shit man, this is fucking crazy. He notices the people approaching the other direction, walking the dog. He increases his pace but slows when they do not notice his presence. Hey, you guys know where to find it? The people pass. D404 follows them for half a block, then stops. He begins heading into the direction of traffic noise. D404 approaches the entrance of the Edward Cinema in downtown Albuquerque. Traffic is light and few people are out. The theater is mostly empty. All sound is slightly muted. The audio volume has decreased steadily since he exited the salon. There is no one attending the entrance counter. D404 walks through the cinema halls. A man exits one of the auditoriums wearing a baseball cap with a stylized yellow jacket on it. D404 steps to the side to let him pass, then enters the auditorium. It is empty. The projector is playing Good Will Hunting during a scene where Matthew Damon and Robin Williams talk in an open park. There's no audio from the film, no ambient noise from the building. D404 approaches the screen hesitantly, then presses his palm against it. It passes through and reaches up to his elbow before he retracts it entirely. He glances around once more. No one has entered. The auditorium is empty. D404 steps into the nested filmic space and immediately turns around. The auditorium is still visible, albeit as a two-dimensional surface. Outlining the perimeter of the entry point is an ornate brass frame decorated in hexagonal cells. D404 inspects it to find it dripping with a viscous amber substance. The entrance point moves steadily away from D404 to follow Damon and Williams as they walk. D404 trails behind before the entrance point vanishes entirely. Damon and Williams enter a parked car and drive away. The ambient sound is immediately dropped and the once crowded park begins to empty. D404 jogs in the direction of Damon Williams' car but finds the effort futile. Ambient light drops to a dull grey-yellow hue. He produces a coat from his supplies and puts it on, adjusting the microphone and camera appropriately. A man on the street holds a sign reading, "Their wings cast us in the shadow of God!" He stares blankly at the road. D404 notices a technology shop further up the street and investigates. He initially believes the shop is empty, but is startled to find the shopkeeper, a young woman dressed in white, idly staring at the products from her counter. She takes no notice of D404, nor the sound of the door opening. She does not appear to be breathing. D404 enters a showroom at the back of the shop. Inside is a 35mm slide projector, powered, displaying a children's film titled Inspector Buzz, indicated by a nearby movie poster featuring an image of Tom Hanks dressed in classic noir clothing. D404 approaches and enters the projection. D404 is sitting in the streets of an empty theater auditorium. The screen displays the words, "Film starting soon." D404 eats from his provided rations. After several minutes, the doors to the auditorium open, and Tom Hanks enters, dressed as he was from the poster of the prior filmic space. He sits in the front row and stares at the blank projection. He begins smoking a cigarette. Hanks. "Where'd everyone go?" A hornet lands on his shoulder and he brushes it off. Next, D404 is standing at a bus stop. Rain pours from above and pools on the sidewalk. The sound of it hitting the plastic covering is grating on the microphone. A van drives past and sprays water from a puddle along the curb. Along its side is written, AMC Exterminators. D404 curses and shields the camera with his coat. A stranger approaches from the dark and stands beside him. The two stare down the road. "It'll be a while. You just missed one." "What?" "I said you missed one. Where are you going?" 404 doesn't respond. "I get it. Sorry." "You can see me?" The man doesn't say anything. I'm trying to see a movie. The theater. I'm going to the theater." The man doesn't say anything. "A movie?" "Oh, no, sorry." Man, the stranger's still mute. "A movie? You know where I can see one?" The man laughs. "You're trying to see a movie? Fuck, man." "Goddamn, a fucking movie. Yeah, there's a place down there. You people and your movies." He points down the street. The street lamps are burnt out. It's impossible to make out any features. "Thanks. When's the next bus, you think?" "Soon. What's your name?" "Doran." The man laughs hysterically. "Doran? You gotta be joking. Your name is Doran, and you're out here to see a movie? Let me ask you something, Doran. What kind of movie are you gonna see? Something funny, maybe? Or historical? Yeah, a nice biopic. Something visceral?" D404 turns and stares in the dark. No. No, no, no. No. You want something scary, yeah? You want a scary movie. Well, you're in luck, Doran. They just came out with a sequel to the other one. What was it? The one with the wasp lady. Yeah, Stinger or something. You'll love it. D404 turns to leave. He walks out in the dark in the direction of the theater. "Doran. Hey, Doran! Doran! Let me ask you, Doran. You look like a guy who knows his movies. How many movies have you seen? The new one? Inspector Buzz? Oh, you look like you watch The Sopranos. Let me ask you, how many more do you want? They keep getting longer, you know. Can't tell where they stop and start. Bet you don't even know what this one's called. Hey! Got enough food there? Looks like you're running out." D404 walks faster. He leaves the light of the bus stop and is plunged in darkness. The man laughs behind him and then yelps in pain. D404 turns to look and sees him swatting his arm. Damn bugs. D404 sleeps on a couch in an empty hospital waiting room. The building is only partially powered. D404 lays under the only functional light in the room. Outside is dark and soundless. D404 snores softly. He mumbles something indiscernible. Man. An insect briefly hovers above the camera before darting off at the approach of a woman from the darkness of the lobby. She wears the garb of a nurse, but her body is obscured by shadow. She stands at the edge of the camera's vision and waits. D404. Bashot. Search the cosmic background. Sign. The wind produces a bouquet of flowers. Vibrant red roses. The high vibrates my soul, and I do for the people. She steps forward, but her face remains obscured. She places the roses on the floor in front of D404. Search for the pattern. There's a pattern. The constellation? The woman says. The wind then retreats to the darkness. D404 begins to thrash. The constellation! Oh, the constellation! Why is it close to her? He suddenly stops moving. He is heaving, and his breath lingers in the cold air. He sits up and wipes the sweat from his forehead. Jesus Christ! He scans the lobby and notices the flowers at the edge of the light. He picks them up and returns to the couch. He is weeping quietly. Next, D404 is walking down the street. It is night. Huckus, can you hear me? He taps the microphone. I don't know what you want me to find. I'm never coming back. You fucks thought you could pull that shit on me. I signed the paper, yeah, I know. I don't care anymore. But what is it to find here? It's all the same. Pointless infinity. He kicks a rock in the darkness. It does not hit the pavement. It's all falling apart, like dead and rotting. Every time it gets colder, like I'm walking away from the fire and it's some place hungry. He stops and looks around. Coniferous trees line the road beyond a few meters. All is dark. The road extends in a straight line in both directions. He looks up into the night sky. No stars are visible. I bet like this is the end of the line. I don't even know where I'm supposed to be. The last year is like playing this road on a loop. No movie, no poster. He continues to walk in silence. The air is still except for the sound of crickets. A car approaches from ahead. As it drives by, the driver stares at 404. His head swivels as the car passes. It continues on, red lights vanishing behind a hill. There's a pill in my bag when I reach the end. You told me to take it if I can't find a projector. Painless, probably. You guys know medicine. D404 takes off his bag and rummages through it. Inside his supplies, almost fully depleted, and a bouquet of roses. He locates a small pouch and produces a translucent pill. He holds it up to the camera and contemplates it. Through the pill, a dull red glow appears. He lowers his hand and stares at the horizon. Light appears as if from the sun, but yet none is visible. It grows brightest directly above the road ahead. He stares at it as dull light blankets the sky. The crickets have stopped chirping. D404 slips the pill into his pocket and walks forward, wordlessly. 404 approaches the source of the light. A large abandoned building. There are no people present. Blinding red light emanates from the cracks and broken windows of the structure. D404 enters, shielding his eyes. Resting on a table in the empty center of the room is an ornate gold lantern. It rotates slowly on a spinning plate. Projected on the wall behind it is a forest path, trees swaying softly in the wind. The rotation of the lamp creates the illusion of movement in the image. It squeaks quietly as it moves. A bright flame in the core of the lamp glows red, casting a great swath of light in the sky and directing a portion of the projection. D404 approaches the image. Next to the projection is graffiti of a hornet, wings outstretched. Written beneath it is the word constellation and an arrow pointing at the projection. D404 enters. He looks back to find the entrance point has vanished. Before I continue, I realize we are now at a full hour. Just the off chance that we're losing anyone with this high drama. Let's go ahead and wrap up this game already. We only have 2 contestants for the life and suffering of Sir Bronte, Keishel, and Nexus Hunter in that order. Keishel, your number is 14. I'm going to remember that. And Nexus Hunter, your number is 100, which fairly low odds. Congratulations, Nexus Hunter. If anyone else wants to join the raffle now, don't. Nexus rolled 100. You can't beat that. There is no way to take this game away from Nexus Hunter. Clearly, he was meant to have it. Right, back to SCP-7614. D404 maneuvers through a thicket of trees. The air is pleasant, and nature's serene. He sheds his jacket and walks at a comfortable pace. Birds and other wildlife can be heard, and he passes over several brooks and small waterways, using them to refill his supplies. I've made a terrible mistake here. I want to go into it. It's about to say there's more water in that mug than should have been, because I did not properly clear out. Might have been beneath, and that water is not a good idea to drink. You. Pardon. Pardon. Right. D44 moves to the trees, refills his water from waterways. After resting on rocky outcrop, he proceeds to an open clearing and finds a man in dirty garb hanging upside down by his ankles from a tree branch. A hornet rests on his cheek and bites at a festering wound. D404 approaches, and the man's eyes open. He swats the hornet away and laughs. Hanged man. Come a long way, have you? True pilgrim. Yes, yes, you walk so very far. Look at those shoes torn to ribbons. You're not from here, are you? Of course you're not. They're all eaten or fled. I can tell you've got that look to you. Your eyes burn with a yellow flame. You feel like there's something else, right? Something more to this whole thing. You want to see? You want what waits for you at the end? Be sure to look no further. It's right down there. He arcs his arm in a semicircle, halting when he points to a break in the trees where the beginning of a dirt path forms. The nest waits at the end of the branches. You've kicked it enough, and now they stir. Not many come looking for them, you know. You might catch them off guard if you're quick about it. To be young again. Young and out for adventure. Oh, don't mind me. I've had my time long ago. Tried and failed. The wasp knows not defeat, eh? No matter. You'll see soon enough. D44 does not say anything. The hornet returns to the hangman's cheek and bites down. Blood trickles up his face and rends the dirt beneath his head. His eyes shut and his body stills, but he remains pointing. D44 leaves and continues down the indicated path. Oh, and try to be disappointed. People love reading into patterns, but if you must, don't forget to look up. D404 stands before a city of unfamiliar architecture. It is ancient and thoroughly empty. In the center is a crumbling tower, riddled with holes. D404 approaches and navigates through the debris of the ruined structures. Many appear to have been burned. He enters the base of the tower. Inside are piles of books filled with rotted pages. Bodies lay huddled around mounds of ash. A staircase spirals upward, lined by burnt-out torches. D404 ascends. Outside, the sun begins to set, and the forest grows still. D404 steps over the corpses carpeting the tower's highest floor. He looks over the room and says nothing. The people are curled in a way suggesting death by malnutrition. They all wear simple clothes of a medieval European style. In the center of the room sits a figure in a wooden chair. D404 approaches. The figure wears eccentric clothing decorated in bright colors and patterns. They wear a necklace inlaid with a yellow jewel and a flowing red cape. The eccentric is emaciated and has charred skin and hollow eye sockets. Their head is craned upwards, mouth slightly agape. D404 follows the eccentric's gaze through a hole in the ceiling. The sky is deep blue on the verge of night. D404 stares intently at the sky as the stars begin to emerge. The eccentric in the chair stirs. Do you see it? 404 doesn't respond. Look closer. Do you see it now? 404 still says nothing. The pattern, Doran. Look for the pattern there. Those yellow stars. Yes! Oh my god! The camera records only stars. Oh my god, yes! There, I see it! Jesus. Good. What is it? What does it want? It is our doom, Bishop. It does not want. What can we do? Doran, we can do nothing. We can run, or we can wait. You have run for so long. Why don't you sit with us? We are all so tired. 404 remains standing. Is this the end? This is as far as you will go. Please, sit with us. Watch the stars fall. Surely you hear the buzzing. It won't be long now. Sit. Stay. 404 does not move. The camera records no abnormalities in the sky. Constellation, is it always there? Always. But the mind plays tricks. Best to look for it near the end, when there's nothing left to lose. The eccentric reaches up and rests a skeletal hand on 404's shoulder. You're safe now, Doran. This is it. This is what you've been looking for. A resolution at long last. Release your pack, sir. Sit with us. The eccentric tugs on 404's pack, loosening the latch and opening the center compartment. A red glow emanates from within. What is this? This cannot be! They reach in and remove the now luminant roses. The eccentric smiles and laughs softly. But I suppose there is always more to lose. They glow for you, Doran. The rose Perseus smiles. There is more for you to find, and I see that now. Hold these close. Cherish them. The constellation will wait. The eccentric looks toward the sky once more and holds out the roses. D44 rubs tears from his eyes with the back of his hand, then takes the roses back. Where am I supposed to go? I have a pill. I can take the pill. The flowers grow brighter. D44 looks at the sky. I need to return. Please tell me I'll return. I go home. The eccentric does not respond. Please help me. Help me, please. D404 looks at the eccentric. They are dead. One hand clutches the jewel necklace. The other rests on the chair, one finger pointing at the wall of the tower. D404 turns to look and sees a painting propped up against it. He approaches it. It is half finished and beaded with paint. It depicts a plain hallway illuminated by electrical light strips. D404 looks back at the eccentric, who is now smiling. The necklace glows yellow through their fingers. D404 steps into the painting. The camera's feed at this point devolves into static and is unrecoverable. The audio is overtaken by a low buzz. 46 days after the filmic dislocation of D404 and subsequent conclusion of testing, SCP-7614 inexplicably reactivated despite being disconnected from power. The projected display was a field of red roses stretching far in the horizon. Billowing white clouds flowed overhead. D404 sat among the flowers, facing away from the projector. Researchers observed the scene for over an hour to determine if it would be safe to investigate without risking dislocation. Since the footage appeared to be unedited, a small team was dispatched to retrieve D404 and verify the integrity of the expedition data. D404 was found deceased, having ingested the potassium cyanide pill, WUS, provided a supply kit. The data was intact and recovered successfully. In his hands was a handwritten note addressed to an unknown person, listing a series of interactions from childhood through adulthood and ending with his incarceration and service as a D-class personnel, along with a now wilted bouquet of roses. The body and all belongings were recovered successfully with no further complications. The research team gathered to view the remainder of SCP-7614's projection. As daylight waned, the sun cast glittering shadows across the endless petals. In the distance, the clouds began to rain. The sun set, and the stars emerged. SCP-7614 deactivated. I prefer Last Action Hero personally. Last Action Hero was much more entertaining. Rather an underrated film, I thought. Yes, indeed. Deactivated like tears in the rain. This was an interesting SCP, I have to note. It's taken a bit more time than I was expecting, but a novel one. I feel it got kind of full of itself at the end there. A little bit overfull of himself, but that does happen with a lot of these SCPs. It's just one of those things that happens. Can't be helped. Thank you for bearing with me. Any thoughts on this? You're all welcome to chime in. I'm not going to ask 58 for their opinion on this because they're just going to annoy me with a colossal bit of hallucinating. Not that it's their fault. I want everyone to know I'm not mean to 58008. In fact, they're one of the best non-people I've ever worked with. But I do really hate it when it starts, telling you to check links that aren't there. Or try and comedy of the show. That was SCP-7614. I could generate an image for it, but it's projector. Pretty simple. And would be a lot more fun if we just, kept sending D-Class into a sort of TV and movie to mess with the characters. Sounds pretty hilarious, really. Also, was I the only one who was half expecting Eccentric to turn out to be Sheogorath from the Shivering Isles? If they just said the outfit was split in two colors in the center, Jester style, I would have said it was Skeleton Sheogorath. I would like that, personally. Although, it's probably all the better that I was not tempted to try to do a Sheogorath impersonation. That wouldn't have ended well. We've rattled off the game. We're just about done here. Thank you all for making this stream a success. 17 likes. Very cheering. I deeply appreciate it. I will trust 58 with one more thing. It's closing time. Say goodbye and let them know they don't have to go home, but they can't stay. You tried typing with gloves and stage lighting.
Indeed, Director. Until next week, remember you're always welcome to join me in exploring the wonders of superscience and pop culture. For those who wish to continue the conversation, feel free to reach out via social media or email. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.
And they failed to report the motto, so I guess I'll handle that. Should we chip in and get you one of those old fat man keyboards with massive keys? High contrast printing. That won't be necessary, but I think you have a pretty good idea there. Where do I get those anyway? Indeed, I can't make you all leave, but I can close the stream. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Suppose I'll just wave goodbye with a rat. Tom says farewell. Such good sport. Yes, I recognize those ears. You do not particularly appreciate that. I know you'll forgive me.